Guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Ajulam here. Thank you so much for coming around. Thank you so much for the love and support. I really appreciate you all. If this is your first time of coming across my channel, kindly subscribe and turn on the bell icon so that you'll be the first to know anytime I post a new video. So for today, I'm going to show us how to cut and sew a gypsy dress for a baby girl. So if you're interested, keep on watching. African print, I'll be combining this. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to start by drafting out the bodice pattern. Okay, so here is my pattern paper, and I'll be using a 9-year-old measurement to draft out this pattern. So I'm going to start by marking out the bodice length and the shoulder measurement. So here, this is the length. Here I have 14.5. The bodice length is 13.5 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance, making it 14.5. So now I'm going to mark out the shoulder measurement, which is 13.5, and if you divide that into 2, it's going to give me 6 3/4. So I'm going to mark that out. Okay, and then the next thing to mark out now is the armhole line, which is also 6 3/4. That is the point here. Then I'll connect the lines. So for this, I'll be adding a little dart to this dress. So for that, I'll just come down by 1 inch from this point now. This is the actual chest line. This is armhole line and also the upper chest line. So I'm going to connect the points now. The essence of this line now is to give me a guide as to where my dart should start. So now after marking this now, I am going to insert the shoulder measurement also on this armhole line. So here is the 6 3/4, and then I'll connect. So here now I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch for the shoulder slope, and I'll be using the neck width of 3 1/4, which is here, and neck depth of 3 inches. Then I'll connect. So after connecting now, I am going to check for the midpoint here. Now the midpoint is, this is 6 1/4. The midpoint should be this point here. And then I'll go in by 1/2 inch. Okay. Now the chest measurement is 32. 32 divided by 4 is 8 inches. Plus 1 inch for both my ease and sewing allowance. That is the point there. So now I am going to connect. So now the next thing is to mark out the waist measurement. Now the waist measurement is 29. 29 divided by 4 is 7.5, which is here. Sorry, 29 divided by 4 is 7 1/4. So that is the point there. So that is the point there, plus 1 inch for both the same, my seam allowance. That is the ease and the seam allowance. So before I'll connect this point now, I'm going to come down from this line. I'll come down by 1/2 inch, which is here, and then the chest span is 3 inches. I'm going to mark out the 3 inches now all the way down. this is where the darts will come in. If you like, you can come down by 1 inch from this chest line. So I'm going to use 1/4 inch on both sides for sewing. So this is the 1/4 inch, and then I'll connect. Okay, so now this is my dart. I'm going to return whatever I used here back to this point. So now this is 1/4 inch on both sides, meaning that is 1/2 inch. So I'm going to add the 1/2 inch back to this point. So now I will now connect, and the front pattern is ready. So I'm going to cut this out now and draft out the back pattern. So this is the back. As you can see, I just draw out the bodice length, the armhole line, and the chest line. This is my zipper line. Okay, so now I am going to repeat almost the same thing I did with the front pattern. This is the shoulder measurement, which is 6 and 3/4, which is this point, and then I'll connect. The back pattern is almost the same thing with the front, but with a slight difference. So I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch as usual for the shoulder slope, and then we used 3 1/4 for the neck width, and then for the back I am going to use just 1/2 inch for the neck depth. So I'll just connect. Okay, and the next thing is to determine the midpoint, which is here, and then I'll go in by 1/2 inch. The chest measurement is 8 inches plus 1 inch for both the ease and sewing allowance. Then I'll connect. Now if you want to add a sleeve, all you have to do is just to connect it back to this line. You don't need to go in by any inch, but because I will not be adding any sleeve, that is why I'll also do the same way I did with the front. Okay, so now for the dart, this is the line that we marked out to help in knowing where to start with the dart. But for the back, we are going to start it exactly on this line. So I'll just mark the chest span measurement, which is 3, and bring it down. Then I'll connect. Okay, and I'll also mark out the 1/4 inch on both sides and connect as well. So the waist measurement is 7 1/4 plus 1 inch for both this ease and sewing, plus this 1/2 inch now, and then I'll connect. So now on this part, I am going to come up by 1/2 inch and then just connect it back to this place, and the back pattern is ready. Okay, so I'm going to cut this off now and place it on my fabric and cut, then we start sewing. Cutting it out, I'm going to sew the neckline, join the shoulders first, then sew the neckline and the armhole, and then I'll turn it inside out. I believe you know how to do all these parts, so I'll quickly rush this part so that we can start with the lower part of this dress. So to the lower part of this dress, we're going to use the waist measurement to determine how you want the volume of your ruffles to be. And then I'll be making these parts, I'll be cutting it in 3 parts. Remember, this is a gypsy dress, so it should be in 3 parts. So now you can decide to make the 3 parts equal, or you know how to go about it. So mine, since the length I'm working with, that is the skirt length or the lower part of the dress, the length is 21 inches. So if you want to make it equal, meaning each part will be 7 inches, but mine, I will not make it equal. I'm going to divide it. So like I was saying, I'm going to divide mine. Since the length is 21, I'll be making the 3 parts. I'll make the first part to be 6 inches, the second one 7, and the last one 8 inches. Like I said earlier, you can decide to make it equal. So now I am going to multiply the waist measurement by 1.5 to determine, like I said, it all depends on how you want the volume of your ruffles to be. Okay, so mine, I want it very light. I don't want it too busy. So I'll be dividing the weight, I'll be multiplying the waist measurement by 1.5. So now the waist measurement is 29 inches plus 1 inch for my zipper allowance, making it 30 inches. So if I multiply that by 1.5, it's going to give me 45 inches. So I'm going to cut out 45 inches by 6 inches. Remember, this will be the first part. So I'll just mark out 45 inches and cut out 6. Okay, but when you want to cut out the 6, remember to add your 1 inch for your sewing allowance. So for the first one now, I'll cut out 7 inches. So here you can see I have my 45 inches, that is the width, by 7 inches. Okay, this is 22.5 and this is on fold. So this is what I'll be using for the first part of this. Now the second part, like I said, I'll make it 7 inches plus 1 inch for your sewing allowance, making it 8. Okay, and then we are going to multiply this 45 now by the same 1.5. Okay, that is how to know what to cut out for the next part of the gypsy dress. So now 45 by 1.5 will give me 69.5 inches. So I'm going to fold it now and also cut out 69.5 by 8 inches. So here I have 69.5 by 8 inches. This is the second part. Okay, so now for the last one, I'm going to multiply this by 1.5. This is 69.5. Then you multiply by 1.5 and it's going to give me 104 inches. So I'm going to fold that and cut by 9 inches. 9 inches. Remember that the last one should be 8 plus 1 inch for my sewing allowance, making it 9 inches. So this is the last part I just cut out now. I am going to take this to my sewing machine and I'll use my gather stitch to run this, okay, only on one side, and I'll repeat the same on these other 3 before we join it with the upper part. I'm done with this upper parts. So now for this part, I used my gather stitch to run it one after the other. So I'm going to start with the smallest one, which is this, as you can see, and this is the second one. So now I'm going to open this up now, and then remember that this is 45 inches. That is the first one that we cut out. This is 45 inches. So I'm going to take the second one now and gather it together or pull it until I'll have 45 inches. Then I'll place it on this part now and sew it together with this. So this is what I have after joining that. As you can see, this is it. You now turn it over. This is how it should be. So I'm going to take the last one now and join it on this one. So I'm going to pull it until I have, remember this part is 69.5. So I'll gather this till it gives me 69.5, and then I'll also place it on top and sew it all the way down. After doing that, now I will now gather this waist area. So after joining that last layer, this is what it looks. As you can see, it's already looking so beautiful. So now I'm going to gather this waist area now and join it with the upper part, and we're almost done with this dress. So after joining it with the upper part, this is what I have. As you can see, the combination is so lovely. So now the next thing to do is to add your lining, and you close up the dress and add the zipper. For the lining, you can decide to multiply the waist measurement by 2, and it's still very okay. If you like, you can also add your hard net to it, and you're good to go. Okay, so that is how easy it is to make a gypsy dress for a baby girl. So that is it for today. Please subscribe if you have not, and don't forget to turn on the bell icon so that you get to know anytime I post a new video. So guys, see you all soon.